Hello everyone and welcome to Recap V. Today we'll be talking about an anime called Summertime Rendering. Summertime Rendering is a Japanese manga series written and illustrated by Yasuki Tanaka. It was serialized on Shueisha's digital magazine Shonen Jump Plus from October 2017 to February 2021. An anime television series adaptation by OLM premiered in April 2022. Watch out for spoilers and let us begin. We start off with the main character's POV called Shinpei Ajiro. He is talking to his childhood friend called Ushio Kofune, who seems pissed at him for being away for so long, and then tells him to find her, and protect her little sister Mio. But then we see him jumping up from the nightmare and landing in a woman's chest, who then gives him a smack in the face. After this we see him looking at the place he is going, his hometown of Wakayama City, on Hitogashima. He is going there from Tokyo after finding out that his childhood friend had passed away. After reaching there, he is greeted by Mio, who seems unable to stop her bike, and gets herself thrown in the water. After this, we see them at Ushio's funeral, where we learn that Shinpei's parents had died 10 years ago and that he was taken in by Ushio's and Mio's family. After this, he also overhears some people saying that Dr. Hishigata had performed an autopsy on her body. Then, one of his friends, So Hishigata, who is the son of the doctor, goes up to the boy crying, and explains that Ushio tried to save a little girl from drowning and then got swept away by the water herself. Shinpei calms him down, and then he tells him about Shiori Kobayakawa, the girl Ushio saved, and says that she hasn't said a word since the accident. His friend then tells him that he'll give him a call to explain the details. After this we see Shinpei, Mio, and her father getting ready to eat. And right after that, the scene cuts outside where we see Mio looking at her house, and the only cop in the island called Tetsu Tatsumura, sees her and is surprised at what she is doing. But the scene then cuts to Shinpei talking with So, who explains to him that one day he, Mio, Ushio, and the little girl had gone to play by the beach. He also explains that his father didn't do an autopsy on Ushio, but that they had found marks on her neck, and think that someone might have strangled and killed her. He gets shocked and asks if everyone knew about this, but the boy explains that only he, Mio, her and his father knew, along with the police. But because there was no one else except the kids there, they have no idea how it happened, so the police only labeled it as an accident. They are then cut off by Mio, who knocks on his door, and then gives him Ushio's necklace. After this, she leaves while saying she'll never forgive the person that killed her sister. And then we see Shinpei remembering the time he gave Ushio the necklace as a gift, and then starts crying. The next morning we see them working at their restaurant. Tetsu then comes in and after saying hello to the boy and the others, he starts to explain that the Kobayakawa, the little girl's family, had disappeared. After hearing this, Mio starts crying and runs away. Shinpei runs after her, and after this we see the two of them talking. There she explains about the little girl, and how she had started to act weird and stopped talking. Mio says that she didn't start to do that after the accident, but it was before when she went bug hunting on the mountain, and had returned saying that she had seen another person, a person that looked exactly like herself. The boy gets shocked, but they are interrupted by a man, who Mio says is Nezu, the hunter of the island, saying that she had seen the shadow. He then says that the shadow used to be a common disease before the war, and that whoever saw it would be killed by it, and then it would take the form the person it killed, and go after the whole family. After creeping out the kids he leaves, but then Mio says that she and Ushio also saw Ushio's shadow before she died. After this, they decided to go to a shrine, because the hunter told them that that's where people used to go to cleanse themselves from the shadow. But when they reach there, no one answers the door. Meanwhile, Mio's eyes are stuck on the forest, and when the boy tries to see what she is looking at, we see a shadow moving. The two of them run after it, and when they reach the other side of the forest, they hear a gunshot. They run towards the sound and there, they find the woman that smacked Shinpei, bleeding. Mio runs to get help, while the woman grabs him closer, and tries to tell him something, but right after that, she is shot in the head. When the boy turns, he sees two Mios, one holding the other with a gun on her head, and then shoots. After this, she turns the gun to the boy and shoots him as well. The scene then cuts and we see the boy waking up again and landing at the woman's chest. Episode 2 starts where we left off. He gets a smack in the face again, but this time we see the woman asking him if he is okay. He says he is fine, but he gets shocked when he checks his phone and sees that the date is on July the 22nd. Because he remembers that when he and Mio went to the shrine it was the 23rd. The boy then brushes it off thinking this is happening because he fell asleep while reading a book by an author who thought that her friends and family had been replaced by copies. He gets off the boat and the same thing happened with Mio losing control of her bike and falling in the water, shocking the boy even more, but he mostly gets surprised when he checks her brakes. Because he sees that someone had cut them. They go to the funeral, and the same thing starts to happen there as well, along with a flashlight, making the boy curious about what it might be. After this we see him eating with Mio and her father, but then he goes outside to take a breath, and calm down. But out there he hears Tetsu, who is surprised at Mio, and asks why she is staring at her house. When the boy turns to see, he is shocked at seeing Mio outside in her school uniform. But right after this, we see the girl starting to stab Tetsu with a knife and kill him. The boy realizes that that isn't Mio, and tries to hide, as we see a flashlight, and then a shadow comes out behind her taking the form of Tetsu. It then goes to the real Tetsu, and makes the body disappear. It also seems to have taken all his memories, and it even acts like him. He then gives the girl his gun, and right after this the boy's phone rings. He tries to shut it off, but is too late as we see the girl right behind him. She stabs the boy, and then he wakes up right after leaving the boat. The boy is shocked at what just happened, but then he sees Mio with her bike again. This time though, he tries to stop her, but by doing so he gets himself pushed in the water. He then starts to drown since he doesn't know how to swim, but, thankfully the girl saves him. After this, the scene cuts to the woman, who is hanging upside down at a tree, and recording her voice. We also see that she is spying on the little girl. After this, we see the boy, who calls Tetsu and gives him a fake report so he doesn't get killed by Mio's shadow. After doing that, he deletes some stuff on his phone to free up some space, and then puts the phone outside while recording to catch Mio's shadow. After going inside, he looks at himself in a mirror, and there he is surprised to see that his right eye is a different color. He then calls for Mio, but she doesn't answer. The boy gets scared, so he opens the bathroom door. As soon as he does that he regrets it, since he finds her in there showering, and then she starts screaming at what he just did. The next morning he checks his phone and sees that he had caught the shadow on the video. He then goes to Mio and tells her everything, except for his ReZero type of time-traveling powers. Episode 3 then starts where we left off. Mio remembers how the little girl had also seen a copy of herself, and says they should go there and look after her. The boy stops her and says he'll go alone. After going there, he meets with the neighbor, and she is surprised of seeing the little girl's family shop closed. And so they go inside to check for them. Inside, the boy finds burn marks of bodies on the floor, that look the same as when the shadow made Tetsu's body vanish. And as the neighbor checks the other rooms, he starts going upstairs. Up there he tries to turn on the lights, but before reaching for the switch, a flashlight appears, and when he turns, he sees the little girl, who is actually the shadow, and it had just copied him. After this, she starts asking him why he had asked her if she had seen a copy of herself before. Like dude, you already knew the girl might have been a shadow, so why the hell would you go and ask the literal suspect? Anyways, as the shadow is ready to kill the boy, the neighbor called for him and reaches upstairs, so the shadow runs out the window without making a noise. They call the cops, and then we see the boy searching for that mysterious woman, but finds nothing. After this, he goes to the store, and then Tetsu comes in, but now is the real one. He then tells them about the little girl's family. He then takes out a phone and gives it to Shinpei. Mio instantly recognizes it, as it's her sister's phone, and Tetsu then tells the boy that Ushio gave the phone to him, and had said to give it to Shinpei if something bad happened to her, as if she already knew she was going to die the next day. After this So comes in, and then they take him outside, and tell him everything. After this, they decide for tomorrow to go to the shrine and ask the priest if he knows something about this shadow. They give each other codes to say when they meet again. And the next morning we see Shinpei trying to figure out Ushio's passcode. But gets interrupted when the others enter his room and see that he isn't ready, because today is also the summer festival. We are also introduced to one of their friends Tokiko, who's also So's little sister. After this at the festival, So also tells Shinpei that he hadn't told her anything about the shadow for now. And after the girls go to join them, Shinpei sees a familiar figure in the background. He tells the others to go to meet him at the shrine and runs after the figure. When he reaches her at the beach, he sees that the figure he has been following is Ushio, alive and well, as he also starts to remember his dream where she told him to find her. And this is where the third episode ends. We'll end the video here. Hope you all enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a like, comment on what you think about it, and don't forget to subscribe, so I can make more recaps of movies, TV shows, animes, etc. See you all on the next video.